Hooray! Twitch is back up.
Oh, we didn't live stream last week, did we?
We did.
Oh.
Yesterday, Musum and I had problems. Something happened with Twitch yesterday, and they were either like getting DDoSed or something, and there were a lot of problems.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Oh.
I guess we should have saved all our comic book talk until now, huh?
Yeah.
Whatever, comics are great.
Doesn't matter.
I'm digging the Death Star 2 in your background there, Boston.
Thank you. It was a birthday gift for my girlfriend last year.
Nice.
It actually lights up when you plug it in. It has the individual sort of flickering lights on the Death Star, but that kind of broke right away because we left it on all the time.
Yeah,
of course. That's the thing you have to leave on all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you have a glittering, blinking Death Star in your office. Why wouldn't you leave it on?
That's true.
Apparently, it didn't like that.
Working by the glow of tyranny.
I'm waiting for it to load so I can see it.
I like that it's not the perfect Death Star. It's a second one.
Yeah.
That's the iconic one. It's that Death Star's fully operational.
Goodness. I have nothing to talk about today.
Yeah, I got a whole lot.
Well, see you guys next week.
I got new counters in my kitchen. That's pretty sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
What style did you go with?
It's a granite, natural granite,
Nice.
which is
Sharp looking.
yeah, it's really nice looking. Now we got to paint the kitchen because we realized that we did like a full backsplash, but there's one spot where it doesn't come up as high as the old counters did. So now and they clearly didn't paint back there. Oh, and that was the other fun thing. They didn't paint behind the stove.
Great.
Yeah.
You hired painters?
No. The people that lived here before us didn't
Oh.
paint behind the stove when they painted the kitchen. Because it was one of those, it's a double oven, so you've got the oven up top and the one on the bottom and the stove in the middle, which I now have to figure out how the hell to get out of my house.
You don't.
Yeah.
Just tear a hole in the side.
No, it'll fit through the doorway. It'll just be really difficult to get down the stairs that lead outside. And I can't I can't take it out until tomorrow night because there's all these rules about you can't have garbage sitting out before 6 p.m. on pickup day or something like that. Yeah, right. And
You need a dolly and some ratchet straps.
Yeah, and I'm sure I have at least one of those things. And if I don't have the straps, I can still do without. I got
Get
rope.
some twine. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Make your life easy. Go pick up a little 4-pack of ratchet straps at Home Depot for like $20.
Yeah, I can literally walk to a Home Depot from my place too.
Sounds like you got it all taken care of.
Yeah,
when you're home
TVGP
remodeling,
solving
home remodeling, a Home Depot just sucks money away.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Like you're like, oh shit, I need this.
Why is my credit card bill so high?
And you're buying like stupid specialty like tools and stuff that you're gonna use. You need it once, but you have it.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, now we're looking for someone to do ceramic tile in our kitchen. We got this ridiculous quote from a contractor today. We're like, there's no way that costs that much.
No, thank you.
We have the materials already. Like, there's no way it should cost us almost $2,000.
How many linear? Oh shit!
For just labor? Jesus.
Yeah. Right.
It's a one day. That should be an $800 job.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like $800 to $1,000, and this dude comes back with like $1,750.
Nope.
Yeah.
I didn't.
He knew he wasn't picking up supplies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I showed him the tile. It's sitting in my garage. I was like,
That
here it
tile's
is.
not that
Do
hard.
we have enough?
Tiling's out there. Just get the little spacers. You'll be fine.
I don't have the time, man. If I did, I would, but I get home way too late in the evening to it would take 3 weeks with my schedule right now, and I would rather just have it done.
Have it done in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, welcome to Remodel Cast.
Yeah. Welcome to HGTV Cast.
Yeah.
All right, you guys ready to kick it off here? You guys got your what you've been playing done?
Oh, yeah.
Sweet. All right, let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Over there's Knobs.
Hello.
And over there's the Hanna.
Hey.
Oh, the only announcement is a new episode of Picking Up the Pixels out now, or tomorrow if you're watching a live stream. But out now, pickingupthepixels.com. Knobs, what you
Yes.
how you doing?
I'm alright. How are you?
I'm okay. How's the weather out there?
It's warm, so I have the house set on freezing.
Nice.
Hence, I'm in a
Good
sweatshirt
setting.
and it's 85 degrees outside.
It's summer and you're wearing a sweatshirt.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the only way to do it.
Well,
How was your 4th?
it was nice. We didn't do anything.
Yeah?
This is my 4th day off of work. We got the 4th and the 5th off.
Nice.
For free, thankfully, so no PTO.
Nice.
I haven't done anything. It's been awesome.
That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I decided to go to Cedar Point on a 4th, figuring everyone would be home picnicking with their families, and boy, was I wrong.
I was incorrect, because they made that
that
assumption
was
too.
That was poor decision number 1 for that day. It was all downhill from there.
It's a comedy of errors.
And not just on the roller coasters.
Oh no, it was every coaster we decided to go towards. Like the line would be really long. It would start to drizzle. They would shut it down. We would get out of line, and it'd fire back up again.
Great.
Or like,
I'm just gonna eat hot dogs in the corner.
yeah, I'm gonna go eat this elephant ear, and I'll see you guys later.
God, elephant ears.
And
I went to
I was
I went to a big carnival here last year, and there were no elephant ears. I was really
what's
upset.
The point?
How is it not there?
Is there at least funnel cake?
No.
What is wrong with California?
All right, hey, here's
But there
what we
was
do.
deep fried cheesecake, so that was okay.
No, here's what we do. We go and buy one of the carny tow behind cooker thingies, and we go and we set up a booth at that carnival next year, and we will make a killing.
Like clean house.
Yep.
We will make
Deep
a
fried
killing.
Kool-Aid? No, thank you. I'm on the elephant ear.
Been
right.
hosting for this podcast for like 12 years.
In one day, in one
One
afternoon.
day.
It's all cash.
Oh.
Dollar bills.
Yeah, we don't want a paper trail.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, Nams, what you been playing?
All right. So as usual, Monday Night Game Night, we had a crazy come from behind victory on Dark or Blood Harvest. It's just like I didn't think we were going to be able to pull it off because they were just always we were chipping away at the lead, chipping away, and we finally came through on the finale.
Nice.
We got to kite a tank for a little bit, and that pretty much secured our victory. Let me see. I played some more Warhammer 40k, Space Marine. I find it odd that the ultra badass Marines are so calm. It's kind of creepy.
I don't know too much about the Warhammer 40k world. Are they like genetically engineered? Is this some Star Wars, Clone Wars business?
As far as I remember,
they were like ultra royalty super Marines with a crazy arm.
Oh, inbreeding.
Yeah.
Like they were, yeah. They were
Hanna writing that down as a title.
they were like the elite.
yeah, I think it was also like a religious sect in some aspects too. So hence the Zen inner calm stuff.
I think I remember that from
like
the RTS thing.
Yeah.
What game was
like
that?
The Elite Squad. Oh, probably Warhammer 40k.
No, it had some. Yeah, Dawn of War. God, that game was good.
Yeah, Dawn of War was awesome.
Oh man, I never played the. I keep downloading the expansion, that Blood War or whatever it is, and saying like, "Oh man, I need to get back in that. I need to play that," and then I'll eventually delete it because it's like 13 gigs.
Yeah, I always say that, and then I go, "Oh wait, you're terrible at RTS, and you're just gonna hate yourself after this."
Just put it on easy.
It's not so much that. I mean, there are probably 3 RTSs that I keep downloading, and I play like the first 5 or 6 missions, and I never finish the game. Red Alert 3, which I love because it's just ridiculous. Because come on,
Red Alert.
General Ric Flair, come on.
Nice.
Whoa!
Woo!
But yeah, that one, World in Conflict, was just such a unique RTS I really enjoyed.
Oh, I never played that one.
And Dawn of War was another one. I played like the first handful of missions, thinking I'm going to get into it, and then I realized there's like 5 races to play through, and I'm like, maybe
Never mind.
Nobody got time for that.
That's what I really liked about. Wait, Dawn of War has like 5 races?
Yeah. At least.
Oh, don't they do them in order?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was trying to remember. I was like, God, did I play 5 campaigns in that game? But I think they're like small ones that they do, like Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
it's like the undead race, the robots, the orcs, humans, and then some other faction of stuff.
Some other craziness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. That world is crazy, but I wish I was into it because the lore seems kind of fun to get around.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that being kind of fun in the story. Like it's just kind of nuts. Like it's just
Yeah.
a little over the top, and the tech is kind of neat.
Yeah,
The, the,
it's
the like
it's
cursory
like
knowledge I have of it is really, really like entertaining, especially the orcs because they're psionic and they don't know it.
Yeah.
So they paint things red to make them go faster, and it works.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man.
Like that's something I would love to really get into it and know more about the universe, but it seems like kind of Warcraft and Starcraft mishmashed into a crazy universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is essentially what Warhammer is. And you know what? I can kind of get behind that.
Yeah, I remember that game being really good. Once it got away from its tutorials, it really sucked me in really quickly.
Yeah, I was thinking it was gonna suck me in like akin to like Empire at War did.
Yeah.
Empire at War, I couldn't put it down. Like
Yeah.
I could not. I need to finish this. I need to shoot the Death Star again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was still one of the most fantastic gaming moments in my gaming history. Was what do you mean the Death Star is ready? Are you serious? And it has that little lever on the dashboard across the bottom. It goes. I'm like, oh my god!
Oh, this is the best.
I need to do this over and over again. How long can I make this mission? I've already blown up the planet behind it. Where's another one?
Yeah.
Your home planet, Alderaan. Yeah. So I played. I played a little bit of that because I had a Borderlands 2 crash, which we'll talk about later.
Ooh.
Then that was in my fit of rage since I lost my toys. But yeah, so then I played that and I kind of got needled into playing a little bit of Dragon's Dogma.
Oh yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what's happening in the front half of this game.
Nobody does.
All I know is the dragon, backhanded me and then picked my heart out like he was picking a cherry out of a drink with a long fingernail.
Yep. And then
And-
ate it.
And then ate it, and then now I'm immortal.
Yep. Dragons.
Okay.
You got the
No, that
basics.
tracks.
Hey, guess what? That's the story until the end.
Great.
You got 95% of that game's story.
Because I'm not even sure why or what was the significance, because I was able to stick a sword in his little thick paw. Like,
Yep.
whatever. It's like a toothpick. It's like the buzzing of flies. He is Vigo.
Yeah, that's pretty much that game story until you fight the dragon, and then stuff pops off.
Huh. Well,
Yeah,
how long is it?
not that long.
Okay.
20 hours max if you do everything.
Oh. Alright, I can get behind that game now.
Yeah, it's not that bad. And if you get a bunch of really high level pawns, you'll breeze right through that game.
And what's the deal with the pawns telling me how cleanly every quarters we are in is?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah.
Why? What is the? No, it's a dirt hut. It's not very clean.
Yeah, guess what? You need to learn how to tune out the pawns because they will say the same thing over and over and over again. Just being like, you humans
Well-
sure do have a lot of facial expressions. And it's like,
Yeah.
thanks. You say that every time I go near this gate. Every
Yeah.
time. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Yeah. Yeah. Why do I need to be called sire every other step? Like
What's wrong with that, sire?
I don't know.
Arisen?
I don't know, sir. Whatever.
You're my favorite,
I'm gonna
Arisen.
pick up this jug and I'm gonna smash it. What are you gonna do about it?
Good job,
Like-
Arisen.
Ah. Yeah, thanks, Arisen. Yeah, good job. Excellent smashing, sir.
Yeah.
Like- Arisen smash.
Verily, Arisen.
Oh my god. It's just weird. Like
That whole game is a little bit weird.
It made me uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie. I was really uncomfortable with this guy following me around and giving me a running commentary.
Just wait until you have 3 of them following you around.
Oh Jesus.
Good job,
All
Arisen.
right.
I love you, Arisen. Oh, my
Yeah.
baby's Arisen.
Yeah. I played some more Masa. It's the same thing about what I said about that game last week. It's amazing and just really fun to play. I'm going back and forth between towns, and I'm not really sure what's happening in the story.
How many hours are you in, or like chapters, or?
I am, I think, about 3 chapters in, so probably about probably 2.5, 3 hours.
Nice.
Well,
It moves at a pretty good pace. It's just really tough, like when you're trying to fall asleep, to pay attention to all the text that's flying at you. Like I just want to swing the sword.
Yeah, just I just want to get stuff, please.
God, just leave me. Like, give me the. Come on, stop.
I don't care about my soul. Whatever.
Yeah,
Arisen.
it's in some girl, whatever. Arisen. Thank you, sire.
Thank you, sir. Your soul is fantastic, Arisen.
But yeah, it's still really good. It looks phenomenal. Then I had a real frustrating night the other night. I got kind of talked into playing some Injustice.
Oh.
With ye shall not be named.
You know who you are and you know what you've done.
I played it was the Unsullied and Bulgurk and I were all playing Injustice. Just kind of going in there and playing, and the inevitable death stroking happened, and I was every fit of
Hanna,
rage.
don't write that down.
Yeah, I literally was so agitated. I think I only played like 5 matches.
I can't believe they haven't rebalanced that or something.
Oh no, it's balanced, but still, it's still
it's
just
the
spam.
Sonic Boom of this game.
I would say so.
Or maybe it's more like the Mortal Kombat freeze.
The freeze, but you can get around the freeze because it's one ball. When you're shooting 4 rounds at, like, the track is like that long. It's like your timing. You have to be at the top of your game, and Bulgurk is, so he's able to counteract all those stuff and just rolling them. But I was so frustrated with it. Like I lost it. I hate this game so. Like I had one of those moments right after we were done, because like I had him down 1 round, and like I had half my health left, and then he just shot me, and I just set the controller down. I was like, this is the dumbest game in the world. I hate this thing. Why does it feel like none of your characters have any range unless they have a gun?
Yeah.
Like everybody's arms stop at the elbow. Like no one has any reach.
Everyone's got T-Rex arms.
They're smaller than that, little raptor baby arms on a T-Rex. Like, it's dumb.
Toxic Joker in chat says Deathstroke and Aquaman are the characters that people spam relentlessly. What's Aquaman got?
Aquaman's got the Chun-Li.
Oh, okay.
Or the 1,000-hand slap.
Yeah.
But like I understand you use those moves in a combo and not use them over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, you don't just keep hitting A over and over again, waiting for
right. Like
something
you
to
get,
happen.
It's acceptable to get 4 or 5 hits, one animation that pop, 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 pop.
Yeah.
Okay, that's acceptable, and you usually hit that like after you've hit the guy a couple times, and then that's as your little flourish to your combo. But it would just be that nonstop. I'm losing my. I'm getting angry right now, just reliving this moment.
I think the thing that's missing really ever since the death of arcades is this weird fighting game etiquette that's always happened, where it's like, just don't be a jerk. Like,
no, because that dude isn't standing next to you, and you're not going to get a punch
you're not
going to
get a fist in your mouth. But like, there was always that dude who'd come up and be like, 1,000-hand slap, huh? And it's like, no, I'm gonna shove your face away from the arcade machine and then beat your character and then beat you to death.
No, you're gonna cordially accept that joystick in the face. Like,
yeah.
Take
straight
it.
On BAP.
Like, yeah. I hope you don't throw up.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's the thing that's really missing, because I know when Knobs, you and I play fighting games, if we accidentally spam some attack, we're always like, sorry.
Yeah.
Because it's a jerk move.
It is.
Well, yeah, it sucks the fun out of the game, and that was the point I made. I was like, look, this game is no fun. He's like, I don't understand. Like, he's like, I don't understand. Like, you like Mortal Kombat, but you don't like this, because there's none of this shenanigans in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, there's the worst you can do is like that
Striker.
Straightforward punch, which is like meh.
Yeah.
Well, no, you have Striker with the guns, and that's infuriating in itself.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like there were plenty of ways to get around that.
90% of the characters teleport in that game, that you can avoid that.
Or have, like,
Yeah.
scorpions get over here, or ice, or some sort of projectile.
Yeah, I mean, there was something you could throw at it, and this was just. And he's got one low, middle, 45. Like, it's
Ugh.
dumb. Like, you can't even jump into it. And that's the other thing. Like, I hate games that don't have air dash. Why?
Yeah.
Why
Guilty
is this
Gear has
not in
destroyed
everything?
us. These are superheroes. Why
Yeah.
can't they air dash? Or at least Flash.
Yeah.
You know what? I take it. Flash is pretty much the only character I really, really do enjoy. Like
Yeah, I've heard he's really
he
good.
controls really cool.
Yeah.
I started getting a pretty good round with Shazam. I finally figured out how to use his teleport effectively, and I was able to actually have a good round against Bulger. But I don't think I ever beat him.
Yeah.
But still, it's just you're right. It's because they're not standing next to you, and the thing that makes it worse, it just doesn't see anything wrong with it, and I lose my poops with that.
Yeah, because most people over chat, you can just be like, dude, really?
Well, yeah, it's like what?
And they're like, sorry.
He's like, hey, board's board. Like, whatever, man. This is bull.
I'm not cheating if it's in the game.
Yeah, it was in the game.
It's just like, well, you're sort of ruining it for everyone else, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, speaking of cheating and not in the game, I played a ton more Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
And they patched out the Evil Smasher Infinity Pistol glitch. And I was sad.
Yeah.
Sadly.
But then I ran into Tom Gamer, and
Hey.
he gave me some I think special weapons,
Some fat loots.
and there was much rejoicing.
Hooray!
Nice.
Yeah, so I finished the Tiny Tina DLC, and wow, that is a masterpiece.
Wasn't that good?
Nice. I'll have
It's
to check it out.
frustrating. It's what's frustrating is if they could do that, why did Sir Hammerlock suck so much?
Yeah.
There's always one.
But
There's
like
always one that
Hammerlock
doesn't
didn't need
work.
to suck.
No,
Like,
it
Hammerlock
had
was
all the
just
potential.
boring.
Yeah.
And what's so great about the Tiny Tina DLC is all of it is new. All the enemies are new. All of the environments are new. I mean, like, half the time you're spent in a dwarven mining camp.
Nice.
Like, none of that is in the original game at all.
I mean, that was the part that blew me away. I love there were no vehicles in this one.
Thank God. Ugh. I like halfway through, my girlfriend and I were sort of like, "This is just fun. We're kind of like wandering around this place. We're kind of spending most of our time. Oh my God, there's no vehicles."
Yeah, some of these areas were huge. Like I was lost in the mine, not the mine. Yeah, the mines.
Yeah, mines
the
were-
first time I got in the mines was really confusingly laid out.
Yeah.
And the legitimate. There's a legitimate dungeon in this game. Like
Yeah.
that is as dungeon as anything I've ever been in any game
Yep.
ever.
That is a real fantasy dungeon.
Yeah, and it's
full of
around
skeletons.
every corner. Every corner there's skeletons and spiders.
And
Nice.
lots of them. The great thing about that DLC is there are a ton of enemies everywhere. Like, it's not just like you walk into a big room and there's like 3 skeletons. They're just pouring out of doors.
Oh, and they're crazy skeletons too. Like one of them's got this glowing sword into them. If you don't pull the sword out when they're down, they resurrect and level
Those are
up.
so cool.
Oh.
And they go up to level 65.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and it's
That's
so cool
brutal.
because like you're used to just hanging back and just mowing these enemies down.
Mhm.
But there's been a lot of times where 2 of those enemies would go down, and like my girlfriend and I are like, "Oh God, go get over there! Oh God, they're back up! Run, run, run!" You know, like it's
Yeah.
always really fun having to charge into this madness to
Yeah.
pull these swords out to actually kill these guys.
Yeah, because if you don't and you let those guys, like I've been milking them for XP,
Yeah.
but if you let those guys go, they become a handful really quick.
Because they level up, I think every time or every other time they come
No,
back.
every time they come
Yeah.
up, they level up.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really cool. Yeah, I've been enjoying the heck out of that.
Do you fight the raid boss?
the dragons?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Super
yeah.
awesome.
That is an intense fight,
Yeah.
and it gives if you beat them.
Yeah, but we played on first playthrough, so it
Oh.
was whatever.
Yeah, do they drop an obscene amount of iridium in first
Yeah,
playthrough?
like 150 iridium.
Yeah. Ooh.
And
But-
then
but
there's
then on
like
the-
300 chests for you to open after that.
Yeah, you almost don't have enough. Like I ended up having less iridium going in
Yep.
than I came out with. Like,
wow.
there were that many chests, and there were 2 of us opening every one of them.
Yeah,
It's like, dude, we got to do some math here to figure out if we could open up these last 5.
Yeah, there's,
Wow.
I think, 45 chests. It's nuts.
It seemed like there were more chests with in there than there was in General Knox to open up.
It seemed like there was more chests than in the Scarlet DLC, even.
Oh, yeah.
Which is nuts.
Yeah, just in that one area, by the way. Just there.
Yeah.
It was insane. Because every time we turn a corner, it's like, oh my god, there's another 12 of these
more
things.
of them? Gee, I don't have the iridium for all this.
But yeah, I've been rating them to get. They've been dropping whatchamacallit, Seraph weapons like crazy.
Oh, nice.
Because I've been beating them on True Vault Hunter mode. So
Yeah.
Nice.
like I've pretty much got a Seraph weapon every time I've gone through there.
Nice.
Got some crazy stuff. I got a gun that's I forgot what it's called, but it has like it looks like the spread shot from Contra,
Oh, yeah.
and
Ooh.
it's like the wave and stuff is really cool.
God, that DLC is so good.
But yeah, like playing through it, the jokes. Oh my gosh, I think I had a grin on my face the entire time.
Yep.
There was something going, like some talk going on in the background with the characters. Did you do the one side mission where all 3 characters rolled a 1 on trying to pick up a gun?
Oh, that one's so good. Oh, man.
And like in the first thing out of Lilith's mouth, he's like, "Really, a 1?" And the gun comes out of your hand and flies over here.
Yeah.
And then Lilith rolls a 1, and Mordecai's like, "Come on!"
There's also 2 really good quests. One is a boss camping quest that I won't spoil for anyone. And there's a really
Yes.
good Dark Souls, Demon Souls quest.
Oh, that
Nice.
one's fantastic.
That
one
one's
had me
really good.
rolling.
I just...
That one had me rolling, and the griefing one was probably the best
Yep.
thing I've ever done in a game.
Yep. Esports! Lols.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Those, like,
Well,
that's
I
what-
think Torg stole that DLC, though.
Oh, yeah. My back muscles are so ripped, you don't even
Yeah.
know.
My chest is huge!
But, like, that's why I want a Season 2. Because if I can get 4 more pieces of DLC that Gearbox is making, because it looks like Gearbox actually made this first one, they didn't make the other 3, then, like, yeah, I'll pay another $30 for 4 more pieces of DLC. Or just bring up Borderlands 3. Whatever. Like, right
Yeah,
now.
Either way.
Would
Yeah.
be nice.
But no, everything was so amazingly it fit in that world perfectly. And I tell you what, the end, I didn't see that coming at all.
No.
And
We're certainly not going to spoil it, but
no, but it made what you were following even funnier
yeah.
early
Yeah,
on.
everything sort of clicks together, and you're like, oh, all right, that was pretty funny.
Oh, did you know you can catch the fairies?
Yep.
And they give you super speed.
Yep.
Nice.
They give you a bunch of buffs.
Yeah, it was really like I was like, hey dude, I caught a fairy. Oh my god, I'm like zipping all over the map now.
That's not a that's a fun non sequitur. Hey dude, I caught a fairy.
Yeah.
I also really like the ending on that DLC. I think I talked about it last week.
Yes.
But it's kind of nice for them to wrap up all of Borderlands 2.
The acknowledgement and of what was going, the overlying arc of what they were doing, and what happened with your characters in Borderlands proper
Yeah.
Nice.
were amazing.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was a very good way to handle what that was all about.
Yeah, sort of what happened, the high points of the story in Borderlands 2 proper.
That I really did enjoy how Roland ran around like with little legs.
Yeah.
Nice.
And with Tiny Tina's voice.
Yeah. It was great. Oh, what outfit did you get? What's her name?
Oh, Ellie?
Ellie. Yeah.
I got the full armor.
Oh, you didn't go with
No.
Leia? Oh, you had to go with it.
I'll have to play through it again to get that one.
Oh my god.
Oh god, it's horrible.
Her lines were great. She's like, I don't know, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm feeling pretty hot. Like, I don't know how much
Amazing.
is gonna protect me, but man, am I feeling sexy? Like it was priceless.
Oh man.
And Tom's like, oh my god, Knobs, what have you done?
You know, like somebody wrote in for Pup yesterday asking the order of DLC that they should play, and we said you should just play all 4 of them in order. You sort of have to wait until you finish the game once to play the 4th one. But man, if there's anything that I can recommend at least, play 1 and 2, Scarlet and Torg. If you don't have the money for the 3rd one, just skip it. It's not that great. But you have to buy the 4th one. The 4th one is easily the best out of all DLC for both games.
I'd say probably the best DLC ever. I would say
it's one of the best, honestly.
I'm saying just because of what they did, they took a game within a game, and kind of had that reluctancy to play a role-playing game with Tiny Tina, and then by the end of it, loving it and having a blast.
Well, and also not only making fun of the genre, but also making fun of their own game at the same time. Like, it's just, the humor is so spot on, and that's what Gearbox does really great in Borderlands.
Nice.
So,
and it was nice to run around and shoot things in that world because it is fantastic.
I mean, you're shooting orcs with a gun. Like, how can you go wrong?
Did you play any of the arenas?
Yeah, my girlfriend and I finished, after we recorded last week, we finished all the side quests and everything in it. The arenas are pretty tough. It's kind of nice.
There's one side quest I can't find. The tower defense one sucks, and I think it sucks on purpose.
That one wasn't... I get what they were trying to go for, but something is off about it. I don't know what.
You could say it sucked.
I don't think it sucked. I just don't think that it was smartly designed.
No, it was pretty bad. I didn't enjoy that at all. Yeah, it was ironic, I think.
Yeah.
How many times you got to beat that once? I only beat it once.
Yeah, just once.
Oh, then why does he keep coming up for a quest again?
That's the horrible thing about repeatable quests they started after the Torg DLC, is you can farm all of those arena things. So, like, when you finish the 6th round of the arena proper, you can go do the 6th round again. So you can just farm loot and farm experience.
Yeah. Okay, well, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
But, what was the one? I'm missing one in the dungeon. There's a side quest that I haven't discovered yet.
Oh, yeah, so that quest is bugged. I ran into it only when I played by myself and kept reloading that area. Eventually, so you can miss an achievement. So PSA here for everyone.
Is that the amulet one?
That is the amulet one. You get 2 choices. One, you can spend like $500,000 to buy the amulet or punch him. If you punch him, you don't get the achievement at all. So if you buy it and you equip that amulet he gives you, you get the achievement. It's like 10 points or something. And it does nothing. So
nice.
Whatever. But I had to keep reloading that area until the exclamation mark showed up. And once it did, I was able to do it. Yeah. I only had to load it like 3 or 4 times. It wasn't that bad. But we didn't see it the entire time. So something's weird about it.
Yeah, because I've been in there. I was like, what is undiscovered here? Because I think that's the only hangar one that I have.
Yeah, and the quest description is something like sometimes you have to make a choice or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that one.
Nice.
Just make sure you don't punch him. As much as Brick wants you to.
Well, I pretty much punched everything that Brick did. Oh, did you finish the Rubik's Cube puzzle?
Not how they wanted you to.
Oh, okay. So when you get there, do it backwards the way it's lit up.
Ah, okay.
Because I did it about a handful of times. I was like, I'm doing this right. I don't understand what's going wrong.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I will try it backwards, and it worked.
Nice. I'll have to try that again.
But yeah, it's a fantastic DLC. I would recommend that to anybody.
Yeah, if you own Borderlands 2 and if you like it, you have to buy this DLC.
Nice.
It is. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
All right, Hannah, what you got?
Oh, I got a whole bunch of stuff because I missed a week. Let's see. Well, I played a little bit of Soul Calibur 4 and some Guilty Gear X2 Reload on Friday night with some friends. We were just hanging out. We were like, hey, let's play some fighting games.
Nice.
Yeah. It's good times. I'm getting a look from Knobs.
I want to play Guilty Gear.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. It was on the Xbox Live Games on Demand, the original Xbox game.
Oh, that one. I thought you were talking about the XBLA one.
No.
Okay.
No, just
that one's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's before they shut down the servers. I think we played 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Well, this was local multiplayer anyway. I had a bunch of people over on Friday.
That's a good version of Guilty Gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Right
it was
there.
the one. It was like the
Sharp
first or
Reload.
second one I played. Yeah.
Sharp Reload.
Yeah. It's got a weird title, just like all of the iterations of Guilty Gear.
I don't know.
I
What
also
you're talking
played
about.
a little bit of. I played a little bit more of the cave, and I realized what happened.
Okay.
Why I can't advance from where I'm at. I think I glitched it.
Nice.
Because you're supposed to have a crowbar at this one spot to finish a puzzle.
Mm.
I don't have a crowbar. I don't see a crowbar. I don't think I can get to a crowbar.
Is that
I
the
think I
crowbar
gotta start
that's
over.
at the very beginning of the game?
Yes.
Oh man. You
Yeah.
probably dropped
And-
it somewhere.
Well, I dropped it, and if you drop it, it's supposed to reappear when you get to the next area. And
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it did reappear, but then I quit the game, and
Oh.
I think it disappeared.
So it's like a what was that game? That Pikmin style game that we loved that had that same problem.
Oh, it was Overlord.
Overlord, yeah. I remember when
Oh.
that first came out. It's like when you have your minions pick up this thing, for the love of all things holy, don't leave the area or you can't finish the game.
Yep.
Wow, that's
was
awesome.
fun.
I did it twice.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah. So I glitched the cave into an unplayable state. Luckily, I'm right at the beginning, so I could just start over if I want to.
Yeah.
But I'll get to that eventually. I really just want to finish it with the rest of the characters because I've only done 3.
Mm.
And I'll get to that one. But I actually, right before we started the podcast, I finished The Room on Android,
Oh, nice.
which is I don't know if you guys have played it, but it's kind of a Lovecraftian horror puzzle game.
I think we had talked about it a couple weeks ago when you started it.
Yeah, it's really interesting because it's one of those find the little bits on the box that do things and then make it do things and figure out. It's basically like this giant puzzle box that you
Yeah.
have to figure out, and it's really cool. And it for $1.99, I think I got it as part of one of the Humble bundles, and man, it's really cool. It's just all these little hey, click this, and then there's a little timer. Go find the other one, and then click that, and then there's all these little puzzles that you have to solve on the box, and just it's a ton of fun. Like, just go check it out on the Google Play Store. It's $1.99, and it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
I had a really great time with it. And it's relatively short. Like, once you figure everything out, I think I spent maybe 2 or 3 hours playing it here and there. But you kind of need to let your brain rest because you'll go, okay, I have no idea where to go next with this puzzle. 2 days later, you come back and you go, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
You just look at it and go,
I was right in front
yeah.
of
I don't know how I missed that.
me. Yeah.
And let's see, what else? I also started Ghostbusters, the video game, which is our TVGP Game Club game.
Did that win?
For this month. That won.
Oh, all right.
And man, that game's good. I played a little bit of it before, and I don't think I got past the Stay Puffed part.
Yeah.
But man, that game is
That
really
game is
fun.
solid.
Yes.
It really is, and it's got an interesting mechanic for a third-person shooter. You're not just shooting. You have to actually wrangle these ghosts into the trap.
Yeah.
And the only advice I can give is always know where the trap is, because otherwise it's going to take you forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's always a pillar of light on the trap
Yes,
too.
there's always the yellow pillar of light coming from the trap, and the big thing for me was figuring out not left or right where you are from the trap, but forward and backwards, the distance from the trap between you and the ghost and the trap.
Wait till you get to the slam dunks. I was slam
those are
dunking
great.
ghosts
Oh, yeah.
into the trap all the time.
Yeah.
I think I'm 3,000 away from having that unlocked, and that
Oh,
is
it's so worth it.
And because I unlocked the fast trap at first, and I was like, maybe I had enough for the slam dunk. I should have gone with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the slam dunk is really, really good. Are the servers still up for multiplayer for that?
I don't know. I didn't see a multiplayer option in the menu, but I may very well have just missed it trying to get to the career portion.
I think with the 360 at least, as long as Xbox Live is up, then it has servers.
Yeah, I don't know about the PC. I'm playing it on PC, so... Oh, and the other piece of advice, if you're playing it on PC, play it with a controller.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Oh,
it's
man.
not fun
I
with a...
don't know how you control a third-person shooter from this.
Not well. It
Very
sounds like.
carefully. Yeah, most third-person shooters, I don't have a good time with them. Mouse and keyboard, so I always keep the 360 controller handy for those.
Yeah.
But yeah, this game is really, really great, and I really love that it's set in 1991 rather than like trying to push it into modern day.
Yeah, I really like that touch.
Yeah, it's a minor little thing, and it doesn't really impact the game all that much. But at the same time, had they tried to be like, "Oh, it's 2012, and all the Ghostbusters have cell phones. Oh my God, we could just our proton packs in an app on iOS."
I mean, it feels like Ghostbusters because Ghostbusters 1 and 2 came out so soon after each other and during this specific time that if they would have done it, we'd be like, now it's 2007. Oh,
yeah. Ooh. It's like, oh, I don't want to watch old Dan Aykroyd. Come on, nobody wants that.
No.
And it's but I do like the fact that the writing is still very accurate because Aykroyd and Ramis both helped out with the script for the game.
Yep. And then Bill Murray kind of slept through his voice acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
It's really unfortunate.
I really like the fact that Brian Doyle Murray came back for the part of the one dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was that's always fun. But I also played a little bit of Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker HD, and man, that control scheme is weird.
Which platform are you playing it on?
I'm playing it on 360.
Oh. On 360? Yeah. You can change the control scheme to something that makes it seem like humans should play it. I think it's like the second or third one.
Yeah, there's a few.
The default one is sort of like, is this the same PSP control scheme? Like, this is dumb. Why? Doesn't it have the camera controls on the bumpers?
Actually, no. That's I have it as the shooter style, where it's got the camera controls on the thumbstick, but just like it doesn't control like a Metal Gear game.
No,
at all. It controls completely different from every other Metal Gear game I've played.
It controls like the portable ops, and Peace Walker and portable ops control differently.
Yes. And it's, I think once I'm used to the controls, I'll have a decent bit more fun with the game. But as it stands, I was just kind of like, all right, so I've got some random soldier telling Big Boss what to do during this tutorial. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, something's a little weird.
That seems a little odd. And I don't know why, but like the comic cutscenes bother me.
I love that style.
I love the style, but I just don't understand why they felt the need to wedge it in there.
Oh, because it was popular.
No, it's different. It's different than that. I mean, it's comic cutscenes makes it sound different than it is, but it's Ashley Wood's. Ashley Wood has done the both. What do they call them? Digital comics for Metal Gear Solid, and a bunch of
1 point too.
Yeah, that's true. The print comics too. So it's a specific style, but What's so crazy to me is I really like them, but they kind of make me stop paying attention to the game in a really weird way. There's something about them where I'm like, ooh, something else. All right.
Well, because the problem is they're I guess they're cutscenes, but they're really just like semi-animated comic panels.
Yeah.
And when you take away all that motion and all that action, especially when you still have 10 minutes of this stuff, like 10 to 15 minute cutscenes still, just give me a cutscene. Is there some law against like just putting a cutscene in a portable game?
Well, and they try and make some of them interactive, but not in a way that is challenging
or meaningful.
Yeah, and I really liked his stuff in the digital graphic novel stuff because you got this one really clean panel that. Every time you hit X, there was a new speech bubble and some voice acting, and then you could dive into each panel to see stuff behind the panel. And that was really cool because of how they made the game specifically for that. And calling it a game might be a little bit generous, but it was still really interesting. But in Peace Walker, it just sort of seems like you have such a cool 3D engine for this portable stuff, and then you make this digital graphic novel stuff, which is really cool, but it's maybe a little too jarring for how everything jives.
It feels out of place.
It does,
really does. And I think that really took me out of the game initially because I'm just like, what? Yeah. Why not just have a cutscene here?
Yeah.
What is the purpose of pulling me out of the style of the game into this completely new style?
Yeah.
And then jumping me back into the game.
Have you gotten to the base building stuff yet?
Not yet. I barely touched it. I
Yeah.
got through like I got like the basics of the story, which is appropriately
Crazy Metal Gear. Yeah.
Yes, which
Metal
you know,
Gear.
I'm all the way
Metal
in.
Gear.
So I can't wait to play a little bit more, but I just haven't had time to actually sit down in front of a TV.
It really pulled me in once I got to the base building stuff, because it started encouraging you to either play back a bunch of missions or play missions really silently and steal as many of the enemy forces as you can.
Yeah.
And that's what really made it a lot different, because in a normal Metal Gear game, you play it as silently as you can until you get caught, and then you kill everyone. And in this one, you really don't want to kill everyone, because that means you're missing building your own army.
Yeah,
And
and
I thought that
potentially
was really
missing like
interesting.
really good soldiers.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm excited to get more into it. It's just a matter of, I have to start my 360, I have to load up the game, and then I have
Yeah.
look, I have to go do something else now.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I may end up picking it up on Vita just to get through it. I'm just a little disappointed that there's no HD version on Vita. Like, you have to buy the PSP version.
I think they were trying to come out with an HD version, but then they patched the emulator for the PSP version to allow you to use the right stick for camera.
Oh, okay.
And I think they just said, well, that's good enough.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we can say we worked on it. So
yeah, and I think the amount of people that would buy like a specific Vita version of that game was probably so small that they couldn't justify having like the PSP version and the Vita version downloadable.
Yeah, and it would create confusion in that PSN store as well. I can see that. As long as I can use the right stick to control the camera, I might actually do that.
Yeah,
then.
if I remember, I would double check before you buy it, but I'm fairly sure that they patched that back in, because everyone was like, "Hooray, it's playable now!"
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Vita, I've also been playing a poop ton of Rayman Origins on there. Because I have that on 360, and I played a little bit of it. I didn't really dive too deep into it, but having that on the Vita, it's like crack.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm kind of
is
scared to open
really-
my copy.
Yeah, that game's tough for me because I have this problem with games that have clear goals and clear objectives that I can. So like you have that little indicator on each level that says these are how many Electoons you've caught. This is you got the medal for getting as many looms as you could and possible on the stage. Oh, there's 2 puzzle pieces and there's something else, and you've got to do a time trial. If I don't fill in all of those things,
Yeah.
I can't say I've beaten that level.
the-
I can't move on. Are
It's
you
the
kidding me?
Banjo-Kazooie problem, where it's like,
Yes.
okay, I can't leave this level until I collect 100 of these things and 5 of these things, and it's the problem that modern Mario games are running into, where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I have to get all these red coins and these 3 coins and all this stuff, and
Yeah.
oh, now there's a hidden
Yeah.
cannon in this level, and it's just sort of like, well, at
It's-
some point I want to play Super Mario World because I just want to finish a level.
Yeah. Yeah, oh no, and I feel the same way right now because I've only gotten to like the 3rd world.
In like
Because
40 hours.
Yeah, because I keep replaying the same level, and I have this problem with racing games too.
Yeah.
I cannot like move on from like Burnout Revenge. Burnout Revenge was the worst
Yeah,
for me.
I have to get
because
first place, and I have to get all
first
these
place.
things.
I have to get the gold medal with the crash events. I have to do perfect, otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
You should pick up Split Second.
Oh god, I think that would kill me.
Oh no, believe me.
That
out of
one's not as
anything,
bad, actually.
It
really?
kind of it's just enough. Like
Yep.
you don't
Okay.
have to go insanely good on it, but it has that little itch. Like, yeah, I could totally do that. So let's try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might do that because that's one game that I've been like, oh, I should pick up Split Second eventually, and it's like
It's
2
a good
years
palate
later.
cleanser, too.
Nice.
Because it's not super hardcore racing, and it's just fun enough. It's just dumb enough that it's sort of like you're in between serious games. You're like, well, I can spend a half an hour and do a couple races. Oh,
I
look,
would
I
really
blew up
like
a
to play
bridge.
that
Hooray!
Yeah. Yeah.
I would
The other
really
thing
love to
about the other thing about the Vita with the Rayman Origins is it has new collectibles as well, like those puzzle pieces.
Oh, man.
It took me like 10 minutes to figure out how to collect because I found one and I was like, I think that's one. I don't know how to get it because it's embedded in the back. Wait, this thing has a touch screen. Touch. And it
Back touch or front touch?
front touch.
Okay.
Because it's right on the screen. I
Nice.
don't know if the rear touch does anything in that game.
Hopefully not, because I really hate rear touch in Vita games because that's where my fingers go to rest.
Yeah, I have that problem too.
It drives me
I'll
nuts.
play a PS1 game and I'll accidentally hit like R2 and L2 and
Yeah,
what are you doing? No, don't do that.
Yeah, I really hate that.
Yeah, it's like I understand they need it for some games, but like give it like at least a warning, like hey, maybe reposition your fingers, you know, adjust your
That's
grip.
what the two little black pads are for.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I can't. Then I get claw hands.
Yeah,
Not as comfortable.
I got to get
First
one of
world
those
problems.
controller like add-ons. I think that supposedly solves that problem. From what I've heard.
Okay.
So I've been playing just a ton of that. Like if I'm watching TV, if I'm on the train, like I've probably put in like 20, 30 hours on that game in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's absurd. And the last game I've been playing, which I literally played all day yesterday and a little bit today, is XCOM Enemy Unknown.
Oh yeah.
It sucked me back in. I was just like, because I keep seeing everyone like, oh, it's on iOS. It's supposed to be all awesome on iOS. And I'm like, I should play that again. And I made the mistake of playing that again.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a mistake. It was a wonderful idea. But I ended up starting a new game because I looked at the condition of the game I left back when I stopped playing it. I had started like a classic playthrough a few months ago. And I loaded it up and I went,
No, thank you.
We're gonna roll back. We're gonna go to normal. We're gonna get Russia and China and South America back because I think I had already lost like 4 countries.
Whew. You've probably already lost Egypt because they're the worst.
Oh God, they're terrible. Egypt and I think the other one I have a big problem with is Russia.
Yeah.
I can never keep Russia.
Yeah.
It's like trying to play Risk, but I've done a little research, but I'm like, okay, I need to adjust my tactics clearly because I'm not a tactical thinker. I'm not great at these games, but I wanna at least put that notch in my belt to say that I've at least beaten this on classic, not necessarily Iron Man mode, but I want to beat this one day on classic.
I think there's an achievement for beating a classic Iron Man, right?
Yeah, and it's either classic Iron Man or impossible Iron Man, which is just suicide.
Never mind.
That's
Impossible is the right word for it because Jesus.
That's all I've heard is just like, dude, just do classic Iron Man, you get the same. That'll be one of those eventual achievements that I get.
Yeah, you got to work back up to it.
This is gonna be a game I come back to, every 3 months for the next 10 years. I think it's got that quality to it. And I just, man, I got stuck in a really bad way in a battle the other day. So I've got it set up, and I move all my guys forward, and I move them in just the right way to trigger just the one group of enemies that I know is there.
Mm-hmm.
And I shoot at that group of enemies, and somehow that expands my line of sight slightly, and suddenly I have 2 cyber discs, 4 drones, and a bunch of 2 mutons and a berserker.
Great. So you're screwed. Okay.
And here's my squad because I have a bunch of people out from the last mission. 2 rookies.
Uh-huh.
I think 1 corporal, a captain, and a major.
And like a dog.
yeah. Like I have my.
You have
my
a dog,
is,
a banana, an 80-year-old woman, and a car.
If I would have had my normal squad, which is 2 snipers, 2 assault, 2 support.
Oh, you would have been fine.
I would have been perfect because I have my 2 snipers spec'd completely differently, so I can have the one just roaming around the map picking stuff off.
Yeah.
And then the one just sitting back at like the beginning behind full cover, just like and dead.
And headshot.
And dead. And dead. Yeah, just repeatedly.
Yeah.
And then 2 assault, especially with lightning reflexes and quick reaction or whatever it's called, where they shoot at anything that gets within 4 spaces of them.
Oh man.
Oh, you just tear through stuff, and you have the 2 medics because those assaults are gonna go down eventually.
Yeah. Strike Team Alpha for real.
Yeah, so I usually don't use heavies unless I know I'm gonna have to blast through like a wall or something to get to an enemy without like exposing myself too much, and that's really what like heavies in my mind are really great for. Is you blow up a wall. Like you don't use explosives to kill stuff unless you absolutely have to.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna do it anyway, you might as well open it up so that you can get the rest of the guys in that room.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's been just that. I literally played it for 12 hours yesterday. It was I didn't even. It was one of those like I didn't even realize it. Like I haven't done with that with a game in years.
That's the problem with that game too. It's just like, well, I just got one more mission. It's like 5 more days until mission. All right.
Oh, for sure. And it's just I really wish this game would come out on Vita. Like there's at this point, just make it happen.
Just put it on everything.
Yeah, because you have it on iOS. I understand not putting it out on Android because doing a game like that on Android requires some serious, doing.
Well,
You know,
there's so many different models of stuff that
yeah,
it'd be hard to say, well, it works on these 5, but it doesn't work on these 3, but it could work on these 2, you know.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
comes out in like 2015.
Yeah, exactly.
But
But
like,
the Vita sounds reasonable.
they could just port the assets from the PS3 version.
Yeah.
And it would be amazing because you could use touch to actually move guys into spaces. You could, and I would never stop playing it because I wouldn't have to ever stop playing it. And that's really the dream. Just
Yeah.
play XCOM until I die.
Yeah.
I think I'd be happy with that. Like this is really one of those games. Like if I could only play one game for the rest of my life, this would be at least in the top 3.
Yeah.
If not like the automatic first pick.
Really, it would be your desert island.
I think it would be because it has enough randomization in the maps, and you can just keep playing it and keep playing it.
And keep having it be more and more and more difficult.
Oh yeah, and especially with like the little randomization features they have. Every time you beat a new difficulty, it unlocks a set of like modifiers that you can use in your games. So you can have like random starting stats. There's a whole ton of them. There's like 12 or 16 of them, I think.
Yeah.
And they modify the game to either make it. Some of them make it easier. Some of them make it way more difficult, and some of it kind of like balances out. Especially the random starting stats, because you can have this dude with like crazy health and all this stuff, but his will's like 10.
Yeah.
So every time a shot is fired by the aliens, he panics.
Yeah, he starts freaking out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's always entertaining, especially on this mission that I'm literally in the middle of it because I decided to just load back to an old save like before you get on the Sky Ranger because it doesn't generate like the map and the enemy layout until you get on the Sky Ranger and leave.
Oh yeah.
So if you just reset back to that and then send your guys out again, you could get lucky and get like a better map with better cover, and just the enemies are a little more spaced out. The problem I kept having was the enemies were so clumped together that I triggered just both cyber discs at once, and like that in and of itself, like I could probably pull off if I'm in good cover.
Yeah.
But then to trigger the Berserker on top of that, that's literally, you may as well just quit because you're going to die.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really unpleasant because that Berserker messes you up.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing.
I only have 2 games. Finished my first run of Final Fantasy V for Job Fiesta.
Nice.
Cleaned house on the end of that game. That was surprisingly an incredibly powerful team for the end boss. The Bard has a song real late in the game that increases your strength every turn.
Nice.
And I was hitting the final boss for about 15,000 a strike. I've never had an easier time beating that final boss.
That's awesome.
So since the Fiesta goes until the end of August, I decided to, once my victory got logged, roll another Job Fiesta and give myself a little bit more challenge this time. So the regular run for the Fiesta is you get 1 job per crystal. So it's wind, water, fire, and earth. And that's called a regular run. And there's like 7 different types of runs, and they get harder as they progress.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to go in for a random run. And what that basically is when you ask the Twitter bot for your next job, it takes all of the available jobs at that point. So when it's wind, it's just the wind job. When it's wind and water, it's all wind and water jobs. Fire is all 3 crystals, and so on and so forth. So I got a team that shows that Twitter bot hates me. Because I started out with a black mage, which just or blue mage, I mean, which makes the game really, really easy at the beginning and really hard in the middle.
Nice.
And the second one that I got, which the Twitter bot laughed at me, is I got a Berserker. Which
that's brutal.
Is the worst. But actually, it's I've had a really easy time because of having a berserker.
Really?
It's been really, really surprising that I've been able to get around the game's limitations of having berserker by having a blue mage. So things that normally I would get screwed by having just this walking death tank next to me, I can kill the stuff before the berserker.
Nice.
And then my other two classes were time mage and red mage.
Ooh,
So I have
that's
3
a lot of
mages and a
magic.
berserker. And 3 of those jobs were from the water crystal. I got nothing from fire or earth. I have had the fastest run I've ever had in this game
Really?
to this point. I finished
That's
the
awesome.
first third of the game in about 7 hours, which is way under my job fiesta time.
That's awesome.
So I was really upset when this started, but I was like, you know what? That's the group I got. Let me see if I can make this work. And I am just mowing through that game. I'm halfway done with the second part of the game at this point, in probably 3 or 4 more hours.
That's crazy.
So if I finish this one in a pretty good amount of time, I will probably start another run and maybe pick a harder one. Because there's one called the natural run, which is each of the characters has to. So first character has to use first job, second character has to use second job. And they can never change their jobs. And part of Final Fantasy V is mixing and matching those jobs. So you can have a berserker that can learn blue magic. You have a red mage that can also do time magic. All that stuff. And I think that would be really, really, really tough. So I might want to. I'm thinking about rounding out my playthrough with one of those. So if I don't even finish it, then whatever, not a big deal.
Yeah.
But Final Fantasy V is super great, and
Nice.
I love my DS Lite. We were talking about it a little bit on Pup yesterday that I think Musim and I agreed that the DS Lite is one of the best handhelds to come out.
Yeah.
It's really well made. It plays GBA games. It has such a great catalog of DS games, from RPGs to everything else. And that battery lasts forever.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
I played 8 straight hours of Final Fantasy VIII the other day while we were watching Top Chef Season 10. And it didn't die until like hour 8 or 9.
Nice.
What handhelds do that?
Not the Vita.
Nothing else. Yeah, not the 3DS either. 3DS lasts maybe the XL lasts maybe 4 hours. So super, super great. And I just love playing Final Fantasy V. And I actually played a little bit of the iOS version. And for anyone that's and I think it's out on Android or coming out soon on Android. And I found out that you can turn off diagonal movement, so that's great.
There you go.
And it's actually not that bad. It's actually the Game Boy Advance translation, and they have all the extra stuff on there, and it's only $15, so it's way cheaper than buying a Game Boy Advance cartridge.
Yeah.
And it's not that bad. So if anyone's interested in Final Fantasy V, that's a pretty good route to go.
Nice.
If you're going to play the Fiesta, taking your screenshots of proof that you beat certain things in the game is pretty easy on those devices.
Yeah.
And the last game I played is a new game called Rogue Legacy. It finally got released on Steam. So this game is kind of nuts in a way that I really enjoy. It's a 2D side-scrolling, almost Metroidvania, almost roguelike game.
Okay.
So it's this pixelated sort of platforming. It's not a Metroidvania because it seems like it doesn't have those blockers that Metroidvania games usually have, where it's like there's this wall and it's sort of highlighted. I think I can climb up it later, but I don't. Maybe I'll come back later. I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to have those blockers, except for bosses. But a game's got to have that. But it has the map. It has teleport points. It has room by room stuff, and you're hacking and slashing stuff, and you're gaining experience and stuff.
Nice.
What's really interesting is where the roguelike stuff comes into play. So every time you die in the game, it's game over and it dumps you back to the main menu. And then you get to pick your descendant of the previous character. So like your very first character, you get just a little bit in because you don't have any weapons or armor, and you kind of suck. But your next person has all the gold that previous person had, plus all of their experience. So you're sort of rolling characters as they go. And once you get a couple generations in, you start getting positive and negative benefits of your family tree. So,
nice.
like a positive one might be your character's really big, really bulky, so they may move a little bit slower, but they don't get knocked back by enemy hits. But then you can also have things like color blindness. So when you play, the whole game is in black and white. Or you can have nearsightedness, where everything around sort of the halo of your character is blurry. Even the UI elements. Or there are characters that don't feel pain, so you can't see your health bar. Or you have characters that have ADHD, so they run really fast. Just really, really, really crazy stuff. One of my favorites so far has been OCD. So as you break stuff in the environment, you get mana back.
That's awesome.
Because they have to break everything. It's super cool. It's, I think, like $11 or $12. It might be on sale now because it's relatively new. Really great controller support. And there's, outside of the rest of the game, outside of the individual, let's keep attacking this randomly generated dungeon. So every time you go in, it's totally different. You're building your manor. So when you get done with one character and you start another one, they start on the outskirts of this castle you're trying to get through. And you have all your money that the previous person had, which you need to get rid of before you go into the next castle. Because there's a dude that stops your path, and you have to give him all your gold before you can go in. So you're upgrading your manor with like a blacksmith, like this lady who gives you relics and stuff. Like your first relic you get is you can double jump, of course.
Of course.
You got a blacksmith that you're bringing plans back for upgrading your weapon, your armor, stuff like that. So instead of like the traditional XP system you would have, you're upgrading all your weapons and your equipment and everything. And then via your manor, you're upgrading your mana, your strength, your health, the amount of stuff you can carry at one time, stuff like that. So there's always this really cool progression throughout the game that even if you don't kill a bunch of enemies in one run, maybe you got like 400 gold and you can up your health 3 times, for example. Or maybe you can buy a new sword from the blacksmith or something like that. So there's always this really slow trickle of progression throughout the game that's really, really cool. And then you get all these really funny, randomly generated stuff like color blindness. Or this character's really skinny, so every time they get attacked, they get knocked back a little bit extra. Crazy. Or this character's bald. It's not going to bother anybody, but they're bald.
That's awesome.
So super
bald,
cool.
It's going to get some sunburn.
Yeah, I mean, it's super cool. The humor seems great. The sprite work is really good. The music is really, really good, which is a saving grace because it seems like there's only a couple of pieces in the game, but it's really catchy and it's really, you can sort of ignore it at the same time, which is going to be the saving grace for a game that you're kind of playing the same beginning area over and over until you get to the other areas in the game. Really highly recommended. As soon as we finish this show, I'm going to go back to playing it. And
nice.
This was the reason I was like 2 minutes late to starting the show, because I just had to finish one more character and then go buy stuff in the manor and then stop myself from going back into the castle. And it's pretty challenging in a pretty fair way. Like you need to have your platforming skills up, or otherwise you're just going to keep getting killed from floating, flying portraits. But it's super, super great. I can't recommend it enough, and hopefully more people check it out, because it seems like it's made by a team of like 2 dudes, and I have no idea how they made a polished game like this.
This is I'm watching the video on Steam right now. This is crazy looking.
Yeah, and I really love, my favorite thing is how the characters hold their sword out and up while they're running, just sort of like this charging sort of motion. Super, super great. But that's all I've been playing, so let's take a break.
Oh, this looks really slick. I think I'm going to pick this up.
It's really cool, and each playthrough for each character only takes like 10, 15 minutes at the beginning.
Oh, God.
And my favorite thing that a lot of roguelikes have been doing
Mm-hmm.
is after when you die, it shows this menu where your character is dying, and then they have like their final words, which is kind of like the tutorial messages, where it's like,
Yeah.
maybe you should increase my strength. Um, but they also have a list of all the enemies that you killed. It sort of has like this little list of like 5 portraits and 2 skeletons and these guys. Like it has this really neat sort of layout of everyone that you murdered. And I
Oh,
really
is that
like
like these? They look like trading or like Magic the Gathering cards.
No. So that's something different.
Oh, okay.
That's when you die and you get dumped to the main menu.
Uh huh.
That's your previous hero's stats. So it's
That's
almost
awesome.
like this trading card, and you can look at your full family tree.
Yeah.
So I'm like 15 heroes in, and I can see this giant, disgusting family tree. It's pretty awesome.
It's literally like a Magic the Gathering card. Like it's the exact layout. It's got a mana or a gold cost. It's like a 4/3.
Yeah, it's really cool.
The only thing it's missing, I think, is flavor text.
I think some of them have flavor text actually.
Oh, it looks like the flavor text is replaced by like what like weird thing they have.
Oh yeah, like their buffs and debuffs.
That's awesome. Yeah, fuck, I'm buying this.
Yeah, I for me, I saw I kept seeing so many places being like, this game is really awesome. It's like, well, I'll toss $15 at 2 dudes.
Yeah, right. It almost looks like it's a more narrowly focused, like someone took the sort of base idea around like Terraria and sort of minimized the building aspect and like the digging
Yeah.
aspect.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
made it into like Terraria is really fun. I think I spent like 25 hours on it in like a week a few months ago, and it was just like, or God, that might have even been almost a year ago now. But that game was fun, but it sort of hit a wall, and I
Yeah.
think this sort of looks like it could really blow past that wall.
For everyone in chat, Toxic Joker just linked the Green Man Gaming sale for Borderlands 2, and the season pass is $15 right now for PC.
Go buy it.
I am buying that.
All right, I'm gonna go grab a drink really quick.
All right. Thank you, Toxic Joker. Bye now.
I just can't get that chat to load.
They had a lot of problems yesterday. It seems like they're having still some minor problems today. Oh man, Alan Wake is only $6. Killing Floor is $5. All the Lego games are $30. Damn, there are some good deals on here.
Lone Ranger bombed.
That's not surprising. It seems like everyone that's seen that movie is sort of like, well, it was weird and 2.5 hours and not that good.
What movie?
Lone Ranger.
Lone Ranger. Hey, here we go. The Dawn of War Complete Pack on Green Man Gaming is $47. Never mind. That was $4.
Oh.
Whoa! But that includes all games, Dawn of War 1 and 2, and all DLC and expansions. That's not a bad price, actually.
No, not really.
That's a lot. You're paying $20 for the game and $10 per expansion.
Yeah. I think my new catchphrase is going to be, man, I wish that came out on Vita. Because I'm looking at Rogue Legacy right now. I'm like, man, I want to play that on the train.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be a perfect game for that.
Yeah. And especially with like the, rolling over.
Well, and what I really like about using a controller for it is it's just the D-pad and the face buttons.
Hmm.
So it's nothing
Nice.
it's nothing crazy.
I wonder because there's been a few videos floating around, and I signed up for a PSM dev license just so I could kind of mess around with it. You can use your Vita as a control pad for your PC, but you can also stream the video from your PC. So if I could pull that off with Rogue Legacy, I might be the happiest person in the universe.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
Apologies to everyone on the stream. I need to fire up Steam here real quick.
Here it goes.
Yeah, I'm playing with Big Picture again.
Nice. I don't know if I own The Walking Dead on PC or not. Nope, I do.
Yeah. If I open up Steam right now, it will start downloading Darksiders again at like 3.2 megs a second, and I think it will crash my my stream here.
Has anyone heard how Grid 2 is? They have it on sale for $34 on PC.
Yeah, I was just looking at that too.
Anything.
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I haven't either. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it. I know their games aren't bad, so.
For sure. Let's see how much Split Second is while I'm buying things.
Did Split Second come out on PC?
Oh, no, I'm not even looking on PC. I'm just looking in general.
No, I was just wondering if it did.
Let's find out. Well, if it did, it's not out on Steam.
Yeah, it must not have. Either that or came out on Origin or something. Wow, I played 47 minutes of Rogue Legacy earlier today. I got no achievements. Bummer.
I went from 40 hours of XCOM to 52 in a day.
Jeez.
That was a good day.
Yeah, no kidding.
Let's see. It came out for PC. It just isn't available on Steam or anything. What the?
I bet it's Origin only.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, well, that's right. Rise of the Triad.
A boxed copy on Amazon is $5 for PC for Split Second.
There you go.
I might pick that up. Let's see.
Did you see the pre-purchase now and receive 4 free classic games from the Apogee Throwback Pack?
Ooh, hello.
That's the way to do it.
Alright, how do I get out of Big Picture here?
The power button in the upper right, I think.
There
you go, got it.
God, alright. Spending money on games. $5 for Split Second, though, is really good.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hell of a price.
Yeah, but if you don't pick it up on 360, we can't play.
No.
Fair enough. I'll have to hunt down some prices for 360 then.
It should be even cheaper.
Sweet.
Actually, I'm gonna go turn the AC up.
Help me, cheap-ass gamer. You're my only hope. But man, Rogue Legacy looks really slick.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's that good.
Yeah.
And the boss I've run into so far has been super tough, which is good.
Nice.
Hubark.
Ooh, let's see. Split Second on 360 at the Devil Store is still $17.99. Let's see.
Amazon has it for $13.35.
Ooh, not bad.
Brand new for 360.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks like it's $30 for pretty much everything.
Wow.
Or $13.
Yeah.
That's a good price.
That is.
Oh, he's a good boy. Yeah. What's up? What's up?
It looks like there's a bunch for like six or so dollars used.
Oh, nice. Can't go wrong with that price.
Yeah. Well, it ends up being about the same with shipping, of course.
Oh, yeah. Do you have Prime?
I do not.
Oh.
I did find out something interesting, though. Speaking of, like, I'm just talking video service in general. Did you know you can pause a Hulu Plus subscription for up to 12 weeks? Just put it on hold.
That's interesting.
I was super happy to find that because I'm like, wait a minute, it's July. There's nothing on that I need to catch up on.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go to their site and like put it on hold for like I think between a week and like 12 weeks, and you don't get charged for it.
Wow, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, like that's one of those things. It's like, oh, I wish Netflix had that. So like, like supposedly it's like, oh, if you're going on vacation or something, you can just pick up where you left off and we won't charge you. But at the same time, it's also like, well, it's the middle of summer. There's no TV really on.
There's nothing happening.
So let's all just pause our accounts.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right.
I'm ready to do this next segment where you guys are.
Yep.
Ooh.
We got show notes here. I knew I forgot something. And we're good.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
You guys ready?
Yup.
Absolutely.
All right, ready in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. We got releases. Downloadable games this week. Capsized for XBLA is 800 points.
Got me.
Yep, upside down boats. Walking Dead 400 Days for XBLA and PSN is 400 points and or $5.
And also PC. I forgot to write that down.
Oh, and the pick.
That's supposed to be really good, and I haven't played it yet.
Same here.
And if you're a glutton for punishment, PSN Plus, PlayStation Plus is Battlefield 3 is free.
It's a pretty good deal.
That's a heck of a free game.
Yeah.
It is. It is a heck of a free game. U.S. release for the week of July 8th, 2013, Metal Gear Solid, the Legacy Collection for the PlayStation 3.
So getting that, because I am such a sucker.
Yeah, that's going to be an eventual pickup for me, because that's a lot of money to throw down on a game.
Yeah, hopefully they're not rare like some of the previous ones. That would be
I
kind
certainly
of a
hope so. I hope it doesn't pull a subsistence.
Yeah.
That was brutal. I was so happy I picked that up on release.
Yeah, me too.
NCAA Football 14 for the PlayStation 3 and 360. If you like sport ball, there you go.
Sports ball.
Civilization 5, A Brave New World for the PC.
All right, moving on to news stories. Unfortunate news for PS3 and Vita owners. Warrior's Lair has been canceled. This was that game they showed off as Ruin when they first announced.
That's what
that
this
Yeah, I
was.
remember that game.
Yeah, the only statement they've had is Sony Computer Entertainment can confirm that Warrior's Lair for PS Vita is no longer in development. That's a real bummer, because that looked like a really cool. Like that was the first time they showed off crossplay. That was the first time they were talking about cross-buy. And after they showed that first time, nothing got shown again. There was rumors that the company was having problems and eventually shut down. But man, I've been looking forward to that game for a while, and especially if you could, there was that whole thing about invading your friends' dungeons, the people on your friends list and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, God, that sounds so cool, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, it just seemed to never come together. So, super bummer.
Proof of concept, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now cross-buy and cross-play works, so maybe they didn't need it as a proof of concept. Next news story, Microsoft details Xbox One reputation system. They've actually been talking a lot about this week, and this sounds really cool, that apparently the Xbox One's Xbox Live system starts figuring out if you're kind of a D-bag or not. just in general? Like, do people rate you poorly? Do they mute you? Do they kick you from games? Sort of overall on the service. And if you do that, then you start getting matched up with other people that have had the same things happen to them as well. So you sort of get into this. The guy, Microsoft senior product manager Mike Levin, said he jokingly described it as the Xbox Live version of hell, which that sounds pretty appropriate.
Yeah.
And man, if that can actually work, that sounds like it will make Xbox Live a much, much better place to be for 95% of gamers.
Well, especially for people playing random, we're lucky enough that we have enough people to game with that we don't have to go to the masses as much.
Yeah.
But imagine if you could play a first-person shooter online without hearing some sort of racist slur.
Yeah,
that's
like
nice. My version of heaven.
Yeah. Well, and the only problem I have with this is there's the potential for the abuse of this system. For someone, let's say someone posts your gamer tag on, let's call it, one of them
internet
image boards, and they just go, "Hey, reputation bomb this guy,"
right?
And then you end up in, I hope they have some sort of customer service way of handling this stuff, and they can look at the data accurately and go, "Oh, look, your rating plummeted in the matter of 2 hours. Right. Okay, let's see what's going on.
Let's investigate this." Yeah, because part of what it looks like they're taking into account also is Microsoft enforcement actions. Okay. So it seems like there's this large number that I don't know the details because I don't work at Microsoft, but it sounds like there's this large number that sort of when you have infractions, minor ones will take let's say it's out of 100, minor ones will take 1 or 2 off. Okay. Major infractions from Microsoft might take 20 or 25 off.
Wow.
They said, sending gross pictures to people that don't want them, that's going to take a lot of points off of your reputation score. So it sounds like they started developing it, because if you play a game with, let's say you get into a Gears of War 4 match with 7 other people who are in the same clan, and you just stink it up, and those 7 people are probably going to say, I don't want to play with this dude ever again. You do that, frowny face that the 360 has.
Yeah.
That really shouldn't count against you as much as you getting banned from Xbox Live for calling somebody a horrible sexual slur. That should count for a lot more. If 2 people in a week say they don't want to play with you anymore, whatever. That's just people playing online. But, it sounds like they have sort of a sliding scale of how horrific the things you're doing are.
Yeah, it seems like they're going to need a lot of long-term, data analysis and all that stuff. It sounds really interesting.
Well, I mean, they have
just from a tech standpoint.
So, they can do anything.
That's right.
Wow.
I still can't believe I haven't got a bad rating on 360.
I've gotten a couple. But I think it's people that are like, this dude's really bad in this game. And I'm like, yep, I am. What?
Yeah.
Recognize my poorness.
Yeah.
Next news story, Broken Age, the new adventure game from Double Fine, is running out of money. And they're splitting it into 2 halves. This is the news story that surprisingly set the internet ablaze.
Wow.
They raised $3.4 million during its Kickstarter. I think they only asked for $300,000, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And Tim Schafer said, quote, "I think I just have an idea in my head about how big an adventure game should be, so it's hard for me to design one that's much smaller than Grim Fandango or Full Throttle. There's just a certain amount of scope needed to create a complex puzzle space and develop a real story. At least with my brain there is." End quote. So they are going to finish up the first half to be released in January with only a few cuts and put it on Steam Early Access to raise extra cash. Then they'll finish up the rest of it, releasing it as free update in April or May. And apparently Kickstarter backers are still going to get the beta access and the full game. It sounds like they're still going to do it, but what I think people are really upset about, if I can speak for the internet, which sounds dangerous, is that you asked for $300,000 to make a game, and then you got, I don't know how much that
10 times.
10 times, 1,000% of what you got, and that's still not enough to finish half of your game, why has the scope gotten so out of hand? Why have you not instead added on to the game instead of saying, well, we got all this money, let's make a really big game? Whoops, that's not that much money.
Yeah.
Like, why? How has this allowed to get, as someone who backed that game,
Mm-hmm.
why has this game gotten so out of control that you can't even finish the first half of your game without cutting it and then asking for more money with Steam Early Access?
This is a dangerous trend. This was bound to happen with Kickstarter, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was during the time when everyone was doing a cash grab.
Yep.
Yeah. There was a big surge of Kickstarter, and then I think a lot of people hopped on that, and they had a much bigger idea in their head than $300,000 could get them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the issue here is, like, I feel like people think Tim Schafer and like Double Fine are throwing their weight around.
Oh.
I think that's really, I think it's less the how did this get out of hand, and it's like more people like going, oh well, this was just your plan all along.
Interesting.
Oh.
That's the impression I got from the little bit I heard about all of this.
Well, if
I could very well be wrong.
If that's the case, I mean, that essentially ruins Kickstarter.
Well, and some people feel really soured because they didn't announce this until the Massive Chalice Kickstarter was over. I don't know if that's how the timing just worked out, where they started figuring it out, but it sounds a little too coincidental, where it's like, well, let's wait until the Kickstarter for our other game is done before we announce the second one. Didn't really go that well.
Yeah. And there's another big thing with there was a film Kickstarter that Zach Braff did that people are having the same sort of reaction to, like, oh, why are you doing a Kickstarter?
Mm-hmm.
Can't you, like, you're Zach Braff, can't you just get money from a producer or something?
Yeah, or
It's
a
like,
studio.
Well, and I feel like Zach Braff, because I followed that one, because
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a really good question people were asking, where it's like, well, why do you need to do this? It was the same thing with the Penny Arcade podcast, where they had asked for $10. And regrettably, I threw in my money really early on that, because I was like, well, I'd like the podcast to come back, and didn't pull my money back out because I kept getting more uncomfortable with it as it continued. Because if it's only cost you $10, why are you on Kickstarter?
Yeah.
That just seems greedy. But, I felt like Zach Braff came out front and said, like, hey, man, I've been asking around. I want to make this movie, and everyone's saying no. They don't want to fund this movie, so if you guys want to see this movie, you can fund it with me. If not, this movie doesn't get made. It's the same thing that Kevin Smith is dealing with Clerks 3 right now. Yeah. Everyone was saying, well, why don't you just kickstart this movie? You can get that money. And he said, well, I don't need to. Yeah. Like, I have enough money laying around, and I can get financed by somebody, so I don't have to do Kickstarter.
Yeah, especially for Clerks 3. It's not like I could have seen him like kickstarting Red State or something.
Yeah, something like that.
That could have been huge. But
it's a risk, but and then he started talking lately about maybe getting on Kickstarter. Everyone's like, no, thank you. That's not. No, we're not going to be doing that.
Now, if he were to come like try and kickstart like the revival of the Clerks cartoon, I would throw every penny I have. Money at that. Yeah, every penny I have.
Yes. But I think. I'm really curious to hear what happened with Broken Age, because everything seemed to be fine. I was watching a lot of those backer exclusive documentary things, and everything seemed fine. And I think people are asking the right question, where it's, well, were you ever able to make a $300,000 game, or did you need to ask for $3 million? Be upfront. Like, I think Shadowrun asked for a lot, and I think that Planescape game asked for like $1.25 million, and they said, this is a lot of money, but this is what we need to make the base game, flat out. We're not going to ask for less than we need.
Well, the cool thing about the Planescape one is they not only added on to that afterwards with like PayPal donations, but they fulfilled some of the stretch goals based on the PayPal donations, which I thought was awesome, because there was, I can't remember what it was, there was one of the stretch goals that I was really excited about, and they hit it.
I actually a Kickstarter finished recently for Hex, that MMO trading card game.
Oh, okay.
And I put a lot of money into that because I think that sounds like such a cool idea, and it seemed like a really hungry team that wanted to make this game. And they'd made like a bunch of TCGs before, like the the WoW one, the Penny Arcade one.
Okay.
They're like really solid TCGs. And they had asked for like $1.5 million right out the gate, saying like, well, we want to do X, Y, and Z with this stuff. We want to have, here's our stuff. Here's our cheating system. Here's our anti-duping system. Like here's how we're designing it out of the gate. And at the end, with their PayPal donations, they made like $4 million.
That's crazy.
At the end, they said, well, because you guys did all this, we're going to make an iPad and an Android version. We're going to make a tablet version because that
Very
sounds
nice.
awesome. And I was like, great. And like at the end of it, it was like $3.9 million. But with the PayPal donations, it kicked it over that limit. And now, because of the tier that I went in, I get like 5 starter packs, 15 booster packs. I get 7 limited cards with all the equipment, and then like there's this giant checklist of like you get this and you get this and you get a car and you get a new house and you get like, and like that's the sort
Move that van.
Yeah, like that's the sort of stuff that's really cool with a lot of this Kickstarter stuff for teams that really seem realistic about it. But I don't want to hate Double Fine. That's the last company I want to hate, because I feel like they're taking their money and they're making a great game, and then they're getting my money. Like even though I didn't like The Cave, I still bought it because Double Fine made it with Ron Gilbert. So that's something that I will throw money at. But this game, I kickstarted a lot of money towards it, and now I have a lot of questions. And it seems
do you think the windfall was too much? I mean, they weren't like, if they were saying they had a plan. Obviously, they had to have had a plan to make a $300,000 game.
I would hope, yeah.
What happened at that point where they're like, well, do we scratch it down and then we work everything to the new budget that we won? And
I would expect. They say like, well, now we have all this money. What can we do with 10 times this amount of money? What do you guys want to do? And maybe their eyes were a little bit bigger than their stomach, and they built it too big for $3.4 million.
But
what's like a lot of money.
What's the internal equation? Because it's not just, well, we have 10 times the money, so we got 10 times the game.
Yeah, I mean, there can't be. I mean, at that point, you probably hire more people to make the game. So you're not only dealing with, you can make the game look and sound a lot better, but you can put more puzzles into it. You're hiring more people. It sounds like that's a snowball that grows really quickly. But I don't know the behind the scenes, so
yeah, it could have just got out of their control. I mean,
yeah, it could have gotten too big too quickly. Yeah. And then when they look back at it, they're just sort of like, well, this is way.
Well,
way
that sucks, because now, like, I'd imagine if I had put money into that I'd feel a little jaded about even financing. They did burn that well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to go back. They fracked the groundwater, so it's done.
What else are they going to do? Like, open another Kickstarter for their game? Like, you can't do that.
No, I'd imagine everyone would be pissed.
Yeah.
At that point, it doesn't matter how good your game is. I mean, you're upsetting the people that want you to succeed.
Yeah.
Your core audience. Once you burn them,
you don't have much left.
You're done.
Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully come January, it's an astounding game, and then we can ignore all these problems. But,
yeah, then everyone's like, all right.
Yeah, there was some bumps along the road, but man, this game's great.
Man, I missed you guys, and you brought me donuts, so I'm all right.
Everything's fine.
There you go.
Moving on, TVG PSA, Uplay is hacked. Change your login information. You probably have an email already.
Yep.
Apparently Ubisoft does not store any credit card info, so you should be fine there. But your Uplay points, man.
Oh no.
How are you gonna buy a Dagger expansion for Black Flag without these points?
Oh no.
Oh no. Next news story, Xbox One's Kinect to read QR codes. There was a really interesting thread on the gaming subreddit earlier last week where someone was saying, hey man, if everyone has to have a Kinect, doesn't this thing read QR codes for like redeeming codes for games? And if we can stop typing in these 25-digit keys,
that's a fantastic
that would be
idea.
really great. Microsoft's initial answer was no, and then later on the week they said, Actually, yes. Hooray!
Yeah, I think it was one of their engineers tweeted something. It's like, yeah, it can totally do that. Why wouldn't it be able to?
Yeah, I think someone just needed to ask a question. And
Yeah.
one of the engineers is like, "Yes, I've been talking about this for months. Come on, guys, let me just put it in this sprint. Let me do.
I have the code ready, so let me push it.
Yeah,
let me push it.
Yeah, let me just commit this code real quick.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's a great feature.
That's something that, like, I was always hoping Microsoft would do that with their tag technology. You know, their predecessor to the QR codes. Because if I don't have to type in 25-digit keys, like there was Etrian Odyssey 4 on the 3DS. You can hold it up to this web page, and it scans in this code, and it unlocks stuff in the game. Great. Yeah. But if I can do this for all these stupid codes that I'm consistently putting in, or Gearbox, if you could put that into Borderlands 3, that would be super great, because I'm sick of putting in golden key codes.
Oh, that's dumb. I stopped putting them in, as I never open those chests.
I have, so to get around that, I have this keyboard that I plug into my 360 and my girlfriend's 360 to type all those codes in.
Nice.
Oh, that'd be so much better with the number pad.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
So good on you, Microsoft. That was a smart choice. 2 thumbs up.
Yay.
And last news story here, a little bit of a hit for Microsoft, maybe, depending on how you feel about him.
Yes.
Microsoft's Don Matrick leaves, jumps to Zynga. What?
Oh.
Why?
Of all the places to go.
So the rumor that has been going around the internet is that Don Matrick wasn't very happy because of some internal reorganizations within Microsoft. So he sort of left seemingly suddenly, and Zynga paid $50 million.
Where did they get that money?
You know where they got that money, and which sucks? Is probably by firing people. That sucks.
Yeah, that does.
So he jumped from the frying pan into the fire.
Yep.
Literally.
I mean, how realistic? Like, Don Matrick seems like a sharp businessman, but how are you going to save a company like Zynga that could have been saved like 2 years ago very easily by sort of diversifying what they're putting out?
Yeah.
But now, how are you going to save that company from both markets? The hardcore gamer who is sick of Zynga making these copies of games that they already love, and then the casual gamer who is sort of sick of Blank with Friends coming out. Like, they had that Bull Running with Friends come out a couple weeks ago. What? Who cares? You know, like, and what is Zynga gonna make that isn't a
that isn't aped from something else?
Well, and it's also not a genre on mobile games that's done to death. Like, there was a Garfield Endless Runner game that came out, so that genre's dead.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna make now to sort of break apart from all this other stuff? I don't know, or I'd make that game. But you know, I don't. It seems like the wrong choice. A lot of people on the internet are happy because now maybe the Xbox One is saved, but I think that's a misunderstanding of how companies work. The Xbox One having bad press isn't Don Matrick's problem.
No.
I'm sure the communication problems are partly Don Matrick's problem.
Oh, absolutely.
But the Xbox One, from an engineering standpoint, isn't really going to be him. He's not sitting in a boardroom saying, always on DRM and do this and do that. You know, like, he's not going to be the one driving that train off the cliff, you know. So I don't... People need to understand how business works. It's not how the internet thinks it does. So read up a little bit on it. There's more than one person working at Microsoft. And here's a hint. It ain't Bill Gates.
No.
You might want to see what Microsoft's been doing in the last decade.
If it was Bill Gates, the Kinect would track your heart rate stuff so that it could figure out how to cure heart disease. That would be the Bill Gates thing.
Yeah. And you know what? I'd be behind that.
Yeah,
it would track something about malaria.
I will hook up legitimate vitality sensor.
Yeah, it would be like, hey, dude, you've got an arrhythmia. You should probably hop in the car and go to the hospital.
Yeah, exactly. Like the front page is sort of like, hey, you can keep playing, but you got some junk going on with your heart. Here's
Yeah,
the
you're
local
right,
phone
you're-
numbers.
Your right eye is leaking quite profusely. Maybe
Yeah,
you should get
Connect
that
is
looked
calling
at.
911. Please unlock your front door.
Connect hears you. I've fallen and I can't get up.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's always listening for. Help.
Connect life
Help!
Help. All right, that's all our news stories. So let's take another break.
That would actually be a really great service, though.
Oh yeah.
I would like that. I live alone. What happens to me if something goes wrong? No one's
Yeah.
knocking on my door.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Sam, stop licking my arm. Gross.
All right, I've tried 3 different browsers and I cannot get chat to work. Fuck it.
Let's see. Oh yeah, that Torment, that last stretch goal. Like they hit all their stretch goals.
Sam, get down from there.
Thanks to the PayPal.
Yeah.
And the last one was Player Stronghold, which is like
Nice.
you have home base.
I'm
That's-
really excited for that. I still haven't played the first one because it's a little hard to get into.
Yeah, especially now.
You know
Yeah,
you're not
especially-
supposed to be on tables.
Oh, sure.
Get down.
Sorry.
Yeah. All right. You guys ready for this next segment?
Indeed.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk about emails.
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 Jeff writes in and says, has there ever been a game you've supported just for the sake of supporting the developer, even though the game/port wasn't good? I love Hotline Miami when I played on Steam, but the Vita version controlled horribly. Now I'm a mouse and keyboard person for most games, but for some reason Hotline Miami didn't control well. You just don't have the precision with 2 nubs or a PS3 or Vita controller. A lot of... Don't chew on the cable.
Yep, a lot of games.
lot
I
of
would say one that comes to mind is Too Human. I wanted that game to be so
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that one as
Broken
well.
Age?
Oh, might be too soon.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Oh man,
Guilty
Viking,
Gear Suka.
Viking, the
Oh yeah.
Rise of
Asgard.
Asgard or the Fall of Asgard or something. Because
Yeah.
I wanted that game to be so cool.
Most Sonic games.
Anything Obsidian's made.
Oh yeah.
Usually it turns out really well. Sometimes
About
like,
6 months later.
Why are you chewing the desk? You're a monster cat. Usually, and then like I see both of you writing that down. Thanks. Yeah, most developers that I really like, Square Enix now because
Yeah.
whatever.
That's just a chore at this point. It's like, oh, you're putting out another game. I'll find some room in the budget.
Yeah, I just Metal,
Move some
anything
stuff around.
Kojima. You know,
Yeah.
anything he makes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, like
anything that has the word Castlevania in it.
Yep.
yes,
And
no matter
or
what it
Metroid.
is. Just pick
Konami
it
in
up.
general sometimes.
Yeah, because either it's gonna be really good or just bonkers.
Yeah. Like the Silent Hill series, man, there's some real bad ones in that.
Man, there's some
Yeah.
piles.
Yeah, it's just like, well, it's Konami. I don't, like, there's been some periods in Konami's history where you go, how did you survive that?
You know, I think what he's really asking is what do you feel Stockholm syndrome with? You know, like I'll just buy it. I know it's gonna be bad, and I know I'm gonna feel badly about myself, but I have to, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
man.
definitely Square Enix. in
It's
the
Final Fantasy 15.
series.
I have
Yeah.
to buy it, right? Don't I? That's how it
I
works,
felt
right?
that way about every Mortal Kombat game I played up until 9.
Between 3 and 9.
So I was just angry playing those games.
That is
Yeah.
a stretch. Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next email. Chino writes in and says, I'm out of the loop on some game-related topics currently going on. I was wondering if you can clear it up for me. So let's try and figure out his...
All right, buy
Clear
Syndicate.
Yeah,
Done.
buy Syndicate. There we go. He says, number 1, what's Ouya and why should I care? It's a $99 really tiny Android console, and I don't know if you should care.
Yeah, you don't have to
Not
care if
yet.
you don't want to.
Yeah.
Not yet, maybe? Seems like there's that Towerfall game that came out, which is supposedly really, really good. But we have one at work, and it's a little weird.
Yeah.
How's
heard
the
it has
controller
issues with the
feel?
Controller does not feel good.
Yeah, that's
Really?
what I've heard.
It is bottom.
It looks slick.
That's about as far as it goes. It is bottom heavy. The L2 and R2 buttons feel wrong. I don't know how to describe them, but like whenever people would come into our office, we'd be like, "Hey, try these triggers," and they'd hit them, and they'd say, "No, I don't. What is this thing?"
I don't want to.
And the face buttons still get stuck under the faceplate.
Oh, come
that's
on.
just-
Yeah.
You couldn't afford that Kickstarter couldn't afford a little eighth of an inch more plastic.
Yeah.
That's a
So, I think the Ouya can be really great. I think developers need to figure out how to make games for it.
shame. Yeah.
Spoiler alert: analog sticks need to have a dead zone.
Yep.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But also, the really good Android games need to get on that platform. Because a lot of the ones that are out there are just either junk or console emulators. Which, if you want a $100 console emulator, this works pretty well.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, or does the SNES real good?
Yeah. But see, that's the thing that most people have heard about it. Is like, yeah, it's a great SNES machine. Whatever.
Yeah.
So, sort of a bummer. Next question, what's Dota 2? It's a MOBA. You should probably look up what that means, because it's MOBA. That is a whole genre that is the most confusing.
Yeah, and Dota actually stands for Defense of the Ancients, which is a mod for Warcraft 3, which is where the genre started.
Yep. What's Oculus Rift mean? It is a virtual reality headset, which surprisingly apparently works really well.
Yeah, I every time I see one, I'm like, oh my god, I think I would be a major impulse buy for me.
Yeah.
How much are they now? $300?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a lot of stuff that's getting support for it.
Yeah.
It would be really nice. I don't think Portal 2 has support for it yet, but I think that would be
coming.
Yeah, that's what I'd really like.
That would be
again.
mind blowing.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be a game changer, because like going down into that portal with that thing on has to be intense.
Yep.
Well, can you imagine going from portal to portal and some of the up and down ones? I'm like, I might as well cover everything in this room plastic.
Yep.
Because I'll be like,
oh man.
Go poltergeist on it.
I will live stream that. I'll keep the camera on so you can see me like with this thing on my head,
Projectile vomiting.
and then just all of a sudden like it's coming through the.
See, all I can picture when I picture like the Oculus Rift and like these 3D things is
Lawnmower Man?
For this, not Lawnmower Man. It's a throwaway scene from Hackers where the main bad guy is playing in that 3D thing and he's like
Oh man.
That's all I can picture when I see that is that actor wearing that.
Boston, do you remember the Duke Nukem the headset thing they used to have at Cedar Point, where you had the gun and you were on that rolling pad?
Yeah. Oh man.
Nice.
Oh man, that was vomit-inducing.
I was just thinking of the virtual reality game and Sam and Max Hit the Road.
Oof.
Talk about a throwaway scene.
Yeah.
Chino says, thanks for reading and keep up the great work, guys. I love listening. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
P.S. Remember Spy Hunter? I had a blast playing it on my NES and record long runs on VCR tapes. And the code is hold right on the D-pad, hit A, B, select, and start. You start the game with your car fully loaded. I loved Spy Hunter, but I think I played on my Atari 5200.
Oh, okay.
What?
I think.
Oh, I remember playing that at the NES and playing it it was at Bootlegger's Bar in Vermilion.
That sounds like a dirty bar, man.
Oh yeah. It was the only place you can catch a Browns game when it was blacked out back in those days.
Nice.
It was just outside the ring. But no, they had that reboot, Spy Hunter, where it was a motorcycle and a car and a boat.
That was
and
bad.
It was just kind of meh.
Did that Spy Hunter Vin Diesel movie ever come out?
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I thought it would. I thought it came straight to DVD, but I couldn't remember.
No, because I think Vin Diesel did the voiceover for the game.
Yeah. And it was supposed to be a prelude to the movie, and then
Right,
that just
right.
never materialized because the game sold terribly.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Jeff writes in and says, what's your guys' favorite era of gaming that's still fun to come back to, and what system, other than the obvious answer of the Dreamcast era? We already knocked out all three of our answers. He says,
There you
mine
go.
seems to be PC gaming from the 2000s to '06, because that's an era where I kind of dropped out of gaming. There's a lot of unknown PC games that are amazing, and they're not too old, so most computers can run them on Ultra with no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was painkiller days for us.
Yeah.
Mine would probably be like mid to late '90s PC. You know, like the heyday of 2D first-person shooters. Like Raven
Yeah.
was on the top of their game. id, Apogee.
Yep.
You know, all these companies were just making super solid, super great first-person shooters.
Oh, crazy 30 levels of madness. It was
Yeah.
the best.
And levels that were like a half an hour to an hour long.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I would have to say, same time frame, Genesis.
Ooh,
I can't think.
Yeah.
I had Genesis and my CD, Sega CD.
Yep.
Because I remember shooting a lot of time playing Eternal Champions, Challenge from the Dark Side,
Yep.
and a ridiculous amount of NHL Hockey '94.
Oh, yeah.
A ridiculous amount.
Yeah. It's as for me, it's probably a tie between like that late era Genesis stuff with stuff like Comic Zone and Gunstar Heroes,
Yeah.
and like the '98 to like 2003 PC era. Because
Ooh,
you
yeah.
had like '98. Just look up 1998 in PC gaming and look at all of the titles that came out. Like that was like Half-Life and like Deus Ex
Deus Ex.
came out around those times.
It was like
and
the
just-
real explosion of quality 3D first-person shooters that
Yes.
weren't like tech demos. Because if you go back and
Yeah.
play the first Quake,
Mhm.
that was kind of just selling that engine. Like,
Yeah.
it's still a
All it
fine
was.
game, but it's not Quake 2. It's not Quake 3. You know, it's not the next step of those engines. It's still
Yeah.
like, if you have a 3DFX card, this game looks pretty good, but if you don't,
Good
you
luck.
can't see through the water.
Same thing, like the same time Unreal came out, and Unreal made a huge splash because that was an engine that everyone said was going to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I think for me, we were talking about it earlier too, is probably for something a little bit more recent is the DS. The DS.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
there's so many great games between those great Castlevania games, so many great RPGs, a couple of remakes, all of the Phoenix Wright games.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just like that thing was around for so long
Yeah.
that there was just, and I feel like it keeps getting forgotten about because the Game Boy Advance was so great and the 3DS hasn't really ever caught yet.
Yeah.
But the DS had so many great years for so many great and original games.
Yeah.
I think the DS might be one of the best consoles ever made.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And it
I
had
was
such
just
a
saying,
variety.
because- Well, it had that, but that got everyone hooked on playing Sudoku.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody had Brain Age.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone had a blast playing that dumb game.
Yep.
Yep. I remember the DS specifically because of Hotel Dusk.
Oh yeah,
It's
great
like a great
adventure
game.
games.
Oh my god! Like I mean, you literally couldn't do that game on another system.
No,
No.
and I feel like Phoenix Wright gets a lot of credit for doing those types of games on there. But Hotel Dusk and then The Secret of Cape West, which is a sequel which
yeah.
we never got out over here, but it's really easy to import.
Yeah.
Even games like Contact, really
Oh god, that
weird,
was so good.
really weird, great individual games that
Yeah.
we never really saw on other platforms because they were never really out for long enough. The DS was
Yeah.
alive for so long. You were getting stuff like, and there's even sleeper hits like Tetris DS, Metroid
that you
Prime,
can't find.
Metroid Prime Hunters.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Really interesting games. Metroid Prime Hunters was a first-person shooter on
Yeah.
the DS that you controlled with a D-pad, and the look was on the bottom screen.
Yeah.
Like crazy stuff.
Well,
they
even
also had,
that, and there was a game that had no business working was Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword. Worked
yeah.
flawlessly.
Yep.
And then you had another first-person shooter was Moon, which I think the developer just
man.
got the rights back to.
Yeah.
Which
Just crazy
that's
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
think we
a field of amazing JRPGs on
Yeah.
that platform.
Oh yeah.
Man. All right, let's move on to tweets here. Toxic Joker writes in and has a three-parter here. Says, love the show, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lightning round questions. Knobs. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
100 horse-sized ducks. A horse-sized duck sounds terrifying.
It sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. It sounds like something out of Katamari, and it'll eat me.
Oof.
Sounds like a Castlevania boss.
Yeah, and there's like half decayed.
It sounds like something out of one of the aliens out of Gantz.
Yeah. He asked me to rank best to worst: Dust and Elysian Tale, Torchlight 2, Hero Academy. It would be in that order.
Nice.
Good job. Hanna, best or worst: Psychonauts, Shadow Complex, Toe Jam and Earl.
Ooh.
That's a tough one.
The first. Read them again. One more
Psychonauts,
time.
Shadow Complex, Toe Jam and Earl.
Toe Jam and Earl, Psychonauts, Shadow Complex.
That was the right answer. Good job.
I agree.
And that's all we have for emails and tweets. If you'd like to visit us, please do so at tvgp.tv. Email us, tvgpfans@gmail.com. And everything else is on the right-hand side of the page.
Please join the forums. Don't forget to mark yourself on the map. Join us for Monday Night Game Night, 10 p.m. EST. Steam Game Night, 10 p.m. EST. No idea what we're playing, but we're playing something.
It's on Steam, at least.
Yeah, it's on Steam. So
You probably own it already, because you probably own more than 400 games.
Yep.
Don't forget about this month's TVGP Game Club game, which is Ghostbusters, the video game. It's there's a whole huge thread in the forums about it, thanks to, I believe, Nintendo put that up. Another huge, awesome thread.
Yep, and I think it's super cheap on 360, PS3, and PC.
Yep.
If I remember correctly, so you got places to play it. And don't forget about our live stream. Happens every week. If you can't catch it live and come chat with these lovely people in the chat room right now, you can catch it on the archives at twitch.tv/E1M1 Network or on our YouTube channel. And that's all we got, so we'll see you all next week.
Later.
Peace.
I have no titles. What do you guys have?
I have this whole page of titles.
Knobs, I know you have some, so why don't you start?
I have Monster Cat.
Monster Cat.
Yeah, I've got that one as well. But like the beginning of this podcast was a gold mine,
I don't know
gentlemen.
why she was chewing this desk. What's wrong with her? Where are you even? I don't want to know.
We'll start with my first one, which is Space Marine.
Space Marine.
Space Marine.
Marine.
Space Marine. Why are there all these Space
inbreeding.
Marines?
The second title I have is Inbreeding.
Oh, inbreeding.
General Ric Flair. What do you mean the Death Star is ready? Good job, Arisen. It made me uncomfortable.
Good job, Arisen.
Thank you, sire. Death stroking, of course. Which I followed immediately by Hanna. Don't write that down.
Ah, crap.
This is the dumbest game in the world. Everyone has T-Rex arms. Cordially accept that joystick in the face.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, I caught a fairy. Best DLC ever. I think it sucks on purpose. Just make sure you don't punch him. 3 mages and a berserker, and upside down boats.
I wrote down 2, death stroking, and hey dude, I caught a fairy.
I don't think we can do either one of those, Boston.
The second one's pretty okay.
The second one's pretty great.
We could also do Hanna, don't write that down. I like that one.
Hey, whatever you want to do. I'm not going to vote for my own.
I kind of like that one.
All right.
Hanna, don't write that down.
Yep. Now I have to write it down.
Oh.
Alright, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 298 for July 8th, 2013. Hanna, don't write that down.
Oh.
Just taking notes.
And we're done. You guys can stop recording. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us in the chat room for the live stream. See you all next week. Bye.
Bye.